The TMI Hospitality Employee Stock Ownership Plan was created in 1999 to provide employees with an ownership stake in our company. For the next 16 years, our ESOP participants helped shape the culture we have today. A culture of team members who believe in the importance of impressing guests. A culture of thinking and acting like owners, of wanting to win and working harder and smarter. And while the TMI ESOP will soon end as a result of the sale to Starwood Capital Group, it will always be a part of TMI, both our history and our future. The ESOP has been instrumental in molding who we are today, and the values it instilled in us will not change as we go forward in the next chapter of our company with Starwood. Today, let's take a moment to reflect upon our ESOP and the positive impact it had on defining our company, and celebrate the many exciting opportunities ahead for TMI Hospitality.
Hi, I'm Gary Thorelson. Today, Thorelson Motels manages over 300 limited service motels that provide quality hospitality in over 30 states. At any given time, 40 to 50 more sites are under construction or are in the planning stages. In just 10 years, Thorelson Motels has grown into the nation's largest developer of new properties, applying innovative industry techniques. Now, just as the company has grown, I would like to see each of you grow as owners of Thorelson Motels. Through an employee stock ownership plan, all eligible employees will have the opportunity to become owners of Thorelson Motels. You, as valuable team members, will be involved in the planning, construction, and development of Thorelson's success, and will provide the tools for building value together. I am delighted to offer each of you the opportunity to become owners in the newly created Employee Stock Ownership Plan.
So an ESOP stands for an Employee Stock Ownership Plan, and what it is really a retirement program. So it was a way to create a retirement vehicle by allowing an employee to have an investment in the company that he or she worked for. An ESOP has a number of benefits. So the owner of a company has his or her equity, so to speak, ownership of the company, and oftentimes they want to sell. They want to sell the company. But an ESOP offers an owner an opportunity to sell the company to the retirement plan and create a retirement plan at the same time.
You know, we had built 200 hotels, and how do you sell 200 hotels as a group? And all of a sudden, he must have come up with this idea on a plan to be able to unload the 200 hotels. He came to me and said, what would you think if I sold 100 of them to employees? Well, we thought that was a great opportunity for us. Then it changed into, what do you think if I give all 200 of them to them?
The first 5 years, the ESOP was a tough sell to the existing employees and trying to teach them about what an ESOP was all about. It took a while because when your stock price starts at zero and then it gradually starts to increase until it got to probably $10, $15 was the first time where I think people finally start seeing that the ESOP was there for them and it was something that created value and that they, as employees of the company, had a role in creating that value. They could make a difference.
So when they announced it to be an ESOP, we were all excited because of the fact that we actually had a stake in the bottom line. We do truly make a difference. We made a difference before, but now this could eventually come to our pocket. So we all worked hard. We enjoyed working together. We had a lot smaller group at first, but we became family.
It creates, in many cases, an employee-owner culture. What I mean by that, the employee is not just working for the company, the employee owns the company. And that is a wonderful thing, because we all know we take better care of things. We work a little harder, we work a little smarter when there are things. They're not somebody else's.
There's a lot of employees that took the employee ownership to heart. You had housekeepers that took additional pride in what it was that they were doing, front desk associates, maintenance guys. I just spoke with a long-term maintenance engineer who was so excited, had been with the company for the extent of the ESOP, and just so grateful for what the ESOP has done for him. He's closer to retirement age now, and he's going to be able to retire secure.
I think the biggest change was expressing to not only the people that came through training that we're now owners, we need to think like owners, we need to focus as owners, but just that mindset of there really is a lot in this for me, and every decision that we make as a company, every decision that I make personally will impact the company at some point.
The first statement was really probably when we started to see the change, when people realized that there was some value growing, and it was an evolving process. It took time and education to all staff members, whether they be the frontline staff or the corporate staff, to get them to understand that they played a significant role in the success of the company. And you had owners. We had a bunch of people thinking like owners, people surfacing ideas on their own, bringing them to leadership to say, hey, here's an opportunity.
They knew the more we grow, the more opportunities for them to move from a manager to an area director to a regional VP to president of the company. So the growth is a big thing, I think, for the unity of the company because we are growing so rapidly.
I think, well, this is great. You know, you get a contribution to the ESOP, the value is going up, the future looked very bright.
Then comes 2009 and 10 especially, and we lose $50 million in top-line revenue, we lose $30 million in EBITDA, and your stock goes from $36.50 to $17. And now we have a challenge of keeping our people believing in the fact that, number one, we can rebuild and get our stock price back up, and then just secondly, making them feel comfortable with TMI and that the ESOP still is there for them and that they are owners.
The times were stressful. Economy went bad on us right afterwards. We tried to sell, by the way, to Starwood. They were the people that we were working with. So isn't it funny, after all those years, they came back and purchased us. But no, it's a stressful time, but good because we all stuck together.
That was an experience I think that some people probably never had witnessed in their personal lives, because now it was much like the stock market. And that was our message, was our value is created by the money, the profit that we make. And this was a great example of when you lose top-line revenue the way we did out of our control because of a recession, can be very detrimental to the value of your company or any company.
So the founder leaves. There's an effort to sell the company that doesn't work, and now comes a great kind of economic distress. And through all that, Rick and Doug and others at the company kept the company going forward. And that's a real challenge and a great example of their leadership, in that they kept the company together.
We all knew that we would survive. I mean, that was the whole thing. We knew that Doug and Rick, they have kind of ingrained into us ups and downs, we'll be fine type thing. I don't think I've ever seen Doug down at all. Enthusiasm is contagious, and they've always been strong at showing the employees that we are a strong company, no matter if we're in the down recession or anything. They've always made us feel like we're okay. We'll be fine, we're okay. And I bet you they've probably said that 100 times to everybody.
When I arrived in 2011, I had some observations. My observations were, one, there was a really, really experienced and talented team, which is remarkable. There's nobody in the industry like us in so many ways. That said, what it seemed like at the time, there was an uncertainty about where the company was going. The company had gone through a very difficult economic time. All companies did, not just this company, but all companies did. So it was a company that was tremendously gifted, but in some ways was paused. When I started, we spent a lot of time evaluating our condition. And one of the things that we discovered, of course, that we weren't where we wanted to be on guest satisfaction scores. So we knew we needed to focus on that. But we also looked at our financial condition. We were a very large company, very profitable, strong balance sheet, but we were an ESOP company. So what that means really is that when an ESOP company's employees retire or they leave before retirement, the ESOP rules require that you buy back or purchase their shares out of their retirement account. So that requires a lot of cash. And interestingly, the more successful you are as an ESOP company, the more the shares will be valued, the more it costs to buy them back. And so fundamentally, an ESOP company doesn't create new capital. We discovered that really the ESOP would not be able to sustain the growth of the company. Wasn't anything wrong with the company, and we could stop growing and survive for many, many, many years. But nobody wants to be associated with a company that's not growing. It was in our DNA, our heritage, to grow. Remember, this is a company that built over 400 hotels. ESOP was a great form of ownership. It created great things at TMI, but it had a life cycle. And we discovered that in 5 or 6 years or so, we wouldn't be able to continue to grow. So we had to move on. Starwood was interesting to us early on when we first met them. They basically said to us, we really are interested in you because we've been looking for a company that can do what you do, manage 180 plus hotels in 26 states and all kinds of different flags. We are an investment company. We invest money. We don't run companies, but we need to put our money in a great place to get a good return for our investors. TMI, on the other hand, we're really good at running companies, but our issue is really we need a sustainable source of capital.
Obviously, I was very, very happy that the day came where, we made it to the finish line with the ESOP. For 15 years, it's like you're working for the employees, and you want this company to be successful so that you can go out and celebrate with employees what their statement says, that the values increase, that everything you preached is finally coming true, that you can make a difference, you can add value to the company. And I think in the end, our final price would show that by working together as a team, everybody being committed, being passionate about their jobs, did make a big difference.
Well, I think ESOPs have to be sold. You have to reap the benefits. And if you don't do that, you're going to get to the point where they're not going to be worth what top dollar is. So I think it was a perfect time for us, and everybody can benefit from that.
Anybody knows I'm not emotional at all. I never have cried in business, but I was so happy for everybody that we were able to keep it together and get it to this point where we did the transaction.
The ESOP brought the feeling that everybody's working for themselves a little bit. And I didn't want to lose that. So I was sad a little bit, hoping that that wouldn't happen, that they would still keep the pride. And sad to watch you lose, like selling a house when you live there 30 years, You're sort of sad you're leaving it, knowing that we owned it and we built it to where we did, and now we disposed of it. So I don't know, it's just a different emotion.
With some change comes uncertainty. There's some apprehension there, but I view that as opportunity to show what you can do, to step up and take on additional challenges.
My hope for the future is to see the growth, to see the company continue its pattern of building in places that we know will produce for us.
I really hope that we can be as successful as we have been. I really feel that we have a lot of opportunity for growth for these young managers to come up and develop them and let them soar in the industry.
The ESOP created a culture at TMI. It wasn't the letters ESOP. It was the fact that employees under its ownership learned the culture of thinking like an owner, acting like an owner, investing in what you do. I know over the years, because of the ESOP, the company developed this culture of a little faster step, a little more focus, a little extra detail. And we have a lot of special things, but I think the number one thing is our culture. It's that culture of impressing guests. And we can't lose that. And I don't believe we necessarily have to. We just have to continue to keep focused on it. Keep focused on our pillars. Keep focused on impressing guests. Keep focusing on what we do really best, our purpose. And I have to say, thank you, ESOP, because that's what created it. That's what created that culture. And if we really want to thank the ESOP, then we should just continue it. Just continue going the way we learned under its ownership. Just continue to do what we do, because we're a remarkable company.